Welcome to the final episode of the 2021 Monster Energy Racer X preview for Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. Today, we're talking 250 class. I'm Jason Weigandt. I've been covering these races for 20 years now. That's the best credential I can throw at you. Steve Matthes was once a factory mechanic. Now he just goes to the races and talks to people and drinks coffee. And Jason Thomas raced for 16 years on this circuit. 130 some starts in the big bike class?
Something like that, yeah.
But some in the 250s, but more, or 125s then, more in the big bike class.
Yeah, I think I signed up for somewhere around 200 races.
Total.
A few bad ones in there. First year, for years, main events were not a guarantee for me. But yeah, I was definitely in the high 170s, 180s as far as main events go.
So it's kind of a sleeper, statistically, for amount of career starts.
Yeah, he accumulated his stats.
He did. He was just padding his stats.
Wasn't accumulator.
Around.
He was just padding his stats. So we talk 250s, and we can only get so specific.
Yeah. No.
Because...
Look, we're a professional sport. There's millions of dollars on the line here. I don't know when you're watching this, people, but chances are the NFL playoffs are coming along or they're happening as we speak. And you may sit down on your couch to watch an NFL playoff game, and you don't know who's playing. No
really?
idea. Yeah,
that could happen.
You think that happens?
There could be a playoff game where we don't know the teams.
That's just like
That's
showing
what they
up.
have uniforms on
That's
for.
just like showing up for Houston and not knowing who you're going to see in the 250 East kickoff for 2021. These teams, they do not declare our riders. They don't tell anybody. They don't declare it. They don't let us know. We don't know how to talk about it. We don't know who's going to win what. We don't know who's racing. We have no idea. But yeah, thanks. Great sport. Real good stuff. We just don't know.
I think we do. It's just not. We don't know today.
We don't know for real.
We will know before the race. It's not like an NFL playoff game that they show up and we don't know who's playing. We'll know. We just don't know today.
We don't know until the morning of the race who's racing.
That's not true.
We even did have some teams have guys ride press day at previous Anaheim ones.
We have teams that enter their whole coasts on the start, and we have to just wait to who rolls out on the track.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is true.
It is insane that this is the way it is. Look, injuries happen and things happen, but can we get some sort of pre-entry list for what guy is racing what coast?
I like it. I like the gamesmanship.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I did not know. I thought you were not bothered by it. You like it.
It's like a chess match.
Well, and we can't talk about it, so
I like
whatever.
It's like they wake up that morning and it's like, yep, King's Bishop 3. They roll out this crew and it's like, yep, we've got them all dialed here.
We are guaranteed to have people in the comment section arguing that we didn't mention their favorite rider as a championship favorite, but here's the problem. We don't know what riders are racing which coast, so we don't know who to pick for favorites.
It's out of a hole.
What?
It digs us out of a hole. We don't have to be.
Oh, yeah, we're totally covered.
Yep.
I do want to thank our sponsors. We got Max's Tires, the MXST, developed by the King, Jeremy McGrath, all-time best Supercross rider ever. New Ray Toys. We've got Roxon and Honda stuff. We've got Eli Tomac stuff. We've got Cooper Webb stuff. We've got Zach Osborne and Jason Anderson stuff, Marvin Muscan stuff. Check out New Ray Toys. Look them up. Just do the Googles and get some toys for you. And also Fly Racing, official gear of the series the last couple of years here. You're integrated well.
We are. We've been a few years and we have a lot of years to go. So very excited about that partnership.
You know, we've mentioned in all these shows
sorry to interrupt you, but we even have Damon Bradshaw's fly helmet over there.
That Monster Energy fly helmet is Damon Bradshaw's?
Right off Damon Bradshaw's head.
Wow, I cannot wait till you look the other way because I might swipe that thing.
Phenomenal.
That is beautiful. That's not from when he crashed
got
a chicken.
Got a water bottle that he drank out of over there as well.
With his water still in his saliva.
Hopefully.
Worth it.
Yep.
So the 250 class had a little change here. So as we know, the schedule for 2021 is all weird. Can't race in Anaheim, can't race California, multiple races in each venue. Then they announced the rest of the series. They switched east and west. There are a couple teams that race west only that are like, hey, you can't move our date. We don't care what stadium we race in or what state it's in, but you can't move our opening date from February to January. It's too late for that. So then they switched it back. It has been quite a rocky road to get to this point for 250 teams. And yes, Daytona Supercross will be a West round in 2021. This is all mandatory just to get through this season. Do not complain. There is no way to slice it when you have, I guess Utah, those two races, they're probably the only two that can be considered truly West.
Arlington is borderline.
We've
seen Houston be West too. But yes, Salt Lake is a true West round.
Right, so you're down to 3 Arlington races and 2 Salt Lake cities. You're going to have Eastern races that count as West. So I know it seems weird, but it is normal in 2021. I just want to get that out of the way. You think you have some? intel on who might be racing east, which
we don't
starts
really know, but we think Austin Forkner will line up. Jett Lawrence will be there.
Because that's Houston, the East opener.
Sorry, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Austin Forkner will be there. Jett Lawrence will be there because the other Honda rider for 250 class, Hunter Lawrence's brother, is hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So we think that.
Yep.
RJ Hampshire is on the list as the pre-entry list. Michael Mosman will be there for the Gas team. They will debut that. Colton Nichols and Christian Craig, we believe, will ride for the Yamaha team on the East as well.
We're thinking maybe one more because they have 6 riders.
Yeah, and probably one more of the kids. Not J-Mark.
They'll sign a couple more between now and then, I'm sure.
It's true.
And Max Volan will make his pro debut, we believe, with the KTM, Red Bull KTM guys on the East as well. So,
in every episode, I have a where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it right now off the top. It is Austin Forkner's time. It's time to get her done. So the rubber's going to meet the road with this Maxxis ST tire developed by the King, Jeremy McGrath, for Austin Forkner. Look, he is the last vestige of the old model, which is you sign a kid early, you sign him young, he dominates at every level, he rolls all the way to the top. We have started to see that foundation crumble. There have been a lot of riders who end up switching teams, guys who we thought were going to be great ended up not being great. A lot of these amateurs wash out. Forkner obviously has the potential to do it, just like Carmichael did for Cowie, and just like Stewart did for Cowie, and just like Villapoto did for Cowie, just like Adam Cianciarulo's starting to do for Cowie. But he's got to get it done. He's got to get it done, and he's come close, but he hasn't pulled it off. So I think pivotal year for Forkner to be dominant.
I'm here for the Jett Lawrence Austin Faulkner battle on the East. I'm here for it. Grab me some popcorn, and
I'm here for all of it. Jett Lawrence with Justin Cooper, with the dogs and the donuts.
These kids bring the drama.
It's everywhere. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm with you on the rubber meets the road Max's segment as far as it has to get it done, but man, what I've seen from Forkner is a little bit of lack of maturity at times, and I hope he doesn't get into that again with Jett and let that affect him, because if he just puts everything into a bottle, he's got the speed and the skill to win races, but it seems like he rides like a bit of a jerk. He's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He lets things get to him, and he throws it away. But he's a year older, and he's recovering from injury. And as you get older, as we know, all of us were idiots when we were younger at times. Not me, but you two probably. So these things happen, and I wonder. I just look at, did Austin Forkner mature?
I'm going to take your rubber meets the road and one up it with this is a Forkner in the road.
Oh, nice.
Austin Forkner,
nice.
Yes. Because if you go back to the 2019 season, I am of the belief that he threw that title away. I believe he was the best 250 East Coast rider. Chase Sexton, good for him. He won the title. But we were all there. We were at all these rounds. Austin Forkner was the fastest rider in the series, would have gone on to win that title. 2020, he was just not as good as Dylan Ferrandis. However you want to slice it, he just wasn't as good as Dylan Ferrandis.
He was coming around, though, late.
He was.
He did beat him straight up at the next to last round. He was coming around.
But Dylan Ferrandis, through the course of the season, was better than Austin Forkner. So I think this is a pivotal year, because if you look at the lineup, and this is what I would have done last year, I would have looked at the lineup and said, he's going to have a tough time with Dylan, right? Experienced. The equipment is hard to battle against on Monster Star Yamaha. When I look at this lineup, I point to Austin Forkner as being my favorite. I think he is the best guy lining up. I think he had.
If these guys line up, if
of course, that's a caveat. We never know. But I like his name above the rest. Looking at, so I think he's back to that 2019 lineup where when I see these guys line up, he's going to be the guy I'm looking to win that race. So I think it's a pivotal year. I think he needs to go out and establish and pay off all of the support and all the resources that Kawasaki's paid into him, and confirm that he will be, just like you made the point, confirm that he will be the next James Stewart, Adam Cianciarulo, Ricky Carmichael, right? And they need to make room for him, right? Down the line, just know we want Austin Forkner on a Monster Energy Kawasaki 450, right? And I think this year it could go one of two ways, because at some point, if you fail to get the job done, it's hard for these guys to just keep going, well, he'll get it done next year, and he'll get it done next year. So
I mean, he's already, this is his fifth year? He's been pro.
He had a rookie year. Then he had the year battling Osborne. Then he had the year where he had the title and got hurt. And then he had the year where against Ferrandis last year. So this is 5.
With no championships. When you speak about Adam and James and anybody else, they've had championships by year 5.
Not Adam. That's what I'm saying. It's starting to crumble, this foundation, where it just automatically falls into place.
So I think this goes one of two ways. It goes, he wins a championship, or possibly wins a Lucas Oil Pro Motocross championship. That confirms hey, your future, we're into the 450s. You'll probably get a deal that takes you to the 450s coming out of that. Or he has to start thinking 250 again. Where do I go 250, right? Am I going to reposition on a different 250 team, and does that alter my course at that point? So
Forkner, you look at this list, and if this is the people that line up on the East, Forkner has more wins than everybody combined, I would think, off the top of my head.
Honestly, I don't know if it matters what coast he's on. I think he's got that over everybody on either coast.
Yeah.
J-Mart, maybe?
Maybe J-Mart and Cooper. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, he's the clear favorite. Is he mature enough to not jack with Jett Lawrence or get caught up into something with Christian Craig or whatever, and just let his riding
But if you take veteran Dylan Ferrandis, who was 26 years old last year, out of that class, Forkner wins the title easily.
Yeah.
Right? So if you put it in that context, the only guy that was able to battle with him in the West Coast Series last year, you take him out, he wins easily.
Yeah. Forkner had Justin Cooper covered, and the East champ was Sexton, and I'm sure if you asked Forkner, could you beat Sexton? I don't know if he's right or wrong, but he would say yes.
Yep.
So I think he would say, the only problem I had was Ferrandis. He's gone. Hand it over.
Yep.
But he does have to deliver on it. All the way back 5 years ago, people were picking him to win the title in his rookie Supercross season. It's hard to imagine we're still waiting on it.
A couple small things change, and in the course of it, it's big things. But one or two things go differently. He doesn't crash his brains out trying to be the fastest qualifier in Nashville.
Yes.
And a Frenchman doesn't come over and race the USA. We could be looking at a two-time champion going into his third season in the 250 class. So we get caught up in this is so pivotal, but if you just change a couple of things, like the success is there.
You said it was a fork in the road for him.
I do believe it is, but because those things went that way. I'm just saying we were very close to having a very different story of Austin Forkner. This is what the story is. Couple small things which go back to his maturity. That time qualifying crash was 100% maturity. He wasn't able to just back it, and we saw crash after crash after crash in time qualifying in the 2019 season, and it finally bit him. It goes back to maturity. So, again, my main point is that I like the way this plays out, but he's got to just figure out a way to rise above all that, rise above the noise, and just go be the champion.
But don't you think, Weege, I'll throw this to you, don't you feel like you're exactly right, JT, if Osborne wasn't there and if the veteran wasn't there?
First time.
But
COVID has done weird things to the world.
I'm not feeling well. I've lost my sense of reasoning. Jett Lawrence won the last round of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championships. We all know he is probably going to be a future champion. And when you look at the path of other young riders like him that have won at his age, whether it was Stu, whether it was Robbie Renard, whatever, any of these guys at that young of age, maybe Jett just zooms right by Forkner.
Jets by?
Jets by.
This is where I came up with this entire thing. This is what stuck out at me. When Lawrence won at the final round, Fox Raceway, your favorite name of a racetrack, Ed Pala.
I missed that round.
Okay, Pala is what he calls it.
There you go.
The SX and MX research department, our buddy Pete, sends out a thing on Instagram and says the last time a 17-year-old won a national was Austin Forkner, like 4 years earlier. And I'm like, wow, we were right there with Forkner like we are with Lawrence. It really shows that they're Forkner in the road.
Yep.
There are no guarantees.
I just don't buy into the final round wins. The guy that's going for the championship, he doesn't care about winning that final round. So yes,
you don't buy into it, but the guy who wins,
sure,
they buy into it.
But if you go back and you watch the Supercross rounds from last year, other than the round that Jett Lawrence got hurt, he was phenomenal at that race. He got hurt at Anaheim too. Great race. But in Salt Lake, he was not the best guy. He was not on the level of Forkner or Dylan Ferrandis. In my humble opinion.
No, you're right. He wasn't where we expected. He could win.
Right.
No, he was not really a contender.
So he's got a lot of ground to make up, is all I'm saying. To zoom past them, which could happen. We see different levels of acceleration and growth from these guys. He just has a lot of ground to make up to do that, in my opinion.
Some people were big on RJ Hampshire last year.
Yes, some people even were willing to put their money
Some people were.
Yeah.
Yep.
He'll be a factor, I think, for sure. And Christian Craig, of course, he's a veteran. The thing with Craig, though, is we know he's got the speed. We've seen that. And now he's on the best bike in the class. Sorry, everybody else. It is. And now Craig, people are thinking Craig's going to take that leap up.
Yeah, he's switched to Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha because the Geico Honda team is done. It doesn't even exist. Honda will have a factory 250 team for the Lawrence brothers, one coast each. That's all for the Honda factory effort. There are other Honda teams that are getting some support. So that opens the door for Craig. I don't know. Outdoors, there's no doubt how good that bike is. I don't know, is it as big a leap
not
in
as
Supercross?
Not as big.
Right, but big enough to help.
I still think it's big enough to help.
Okay.
So Forkner, Hampshire, and I think the Jett will battle on the East.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Craig will certainly get into the mix. We got to see him stay consistent.
Colt Nichols as well on that list. He's won races before.
And if we go on by subtraction, J Mart and Justin Cooper look to be battling on the West, I think.
We think. I mean, you would think Yamaha's going to put one more guy in East, but maybe one of the kids, either Nate Thrasher or Jarrett Fry. So if that puts J Mart in the East, yes. Although you are of the mind that when you don't get it done so many times, you've said this.
Yeah.
J Mart has been good enough to win races.
Yeah.
He's won big races. He's won East-West races. It's not that he's not fast in Supercross. It's that he oddly has like 4 horrible races every year.
You just hear the J Mart's flying thing, and then he comes out,
always.
And at Atlanta, he's by himself in second or third, jumps on a hay bale, pushes his way out. You just see that all in all. And also, too, folks, let's not forget, we don't know what's going on in the points right here. One of these guys could just depart the series, just leave the series because they don't want to point out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we don't really know.
Yeah.
But your star, your favorite rider, could just show up at the airport in a press conference one day.
He was picking somebody up. He said he was picking somebody up.
We don't know. So, I mean, again, you want to talk about another frustration of mine with this class. You could have a guy just literally stop racing. We saw it with Shane McElrath. We saw it with Jeremy Martin. We've seen it with Brock Sellers. We've seen it over and over. We could have that happen again.
You know, a couple of months ago, you had a column on your website. I don't want to say the name of it because it's janky, and I don't want people to reference it. But you had anonymous industry sources saying things. One of the things that really stuck out to me is that one of your anonymous sources, who you will never reveal, said, everyone is saying Honda.
Well, everyone thought one of them was JT.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they did that?
Yeah.
I mean, it said, everyone is saying, Honda built this 250 team to keep Jett Lawrence, but don't sleep on Hunter. He's not as old as you think. He's still pretty young. He still has potential. But I think people are sleeping on Hunter. I think they're looking at it as like, they just signed him for his brother and we'll take Hunter along for the ride. We don't know. We've barely seen him race Supercross. Maybe he's good.
I struggle with what I saw from Hunter last year.
It was barely.
It wasn't.
Struggling to make main.
It wasn't great.
Well, he didn't make
getting banged up.
He didn't make the
I do believe a healthy Hunter Lawrence next summer.
Yeah.
Threat to be dealt with. But in Supercross, I think we hear this all the time, right? Just stay healthy through Supercross and get to the summer.
Yes.
I think that's going to be the case for Hunter.
Okay. We got 19 guys on the Yamaha team. We think Cooper and J Mart and one of the kids, either Thrasher or Frasher, if you want to combine them, will race. And then we think, again, it's Nichols Craig racing East. Pro Circuit, we talked a lot, obviously, about Forkner. Jordan Smith.
Dealing with an injury from what I hear.
Up again.
So not sure what's going on for him.
You can just put that into every season.
Poor Jordan Smith, man.
That should be his butt patch, dealing with an injury.
Right. We think the rookie, Seth Hamaker, will be making his pro debut. They've announced he's on the team.
Yeah, I think he's on the East. Ramit.
Wait, when you say East, you mean he'll be starting in Houston?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay,
yeah.
all right. And then Ramit McAdoo, yes.
Yeah, and McAdoo's the veteran, quote-unquote. Joe Shimoda got third in a series last year. Look it up. It really happened.
Phenomenal performance.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Yes. Whackers McAdoo, yes.
Yep.
And Shimoda ended up picking a 5th slot on Monster Energy Pro Circuit because Geico is gone. I think Shimoda's quiet. He's not like a Jett Lawrence flash, but I think he's underrated with his potential. So we'll see in year 2. Yeah, he's third in points. Third in points last year.
We have some Rockstar Energy Husky riders.
Young
Styles
kids.
Robertson.
Yep.
Jalek Swoll.
Mm-hmm.
Swoll's rookie year in Supercross wasn't that good. He was actually battling Shimoda for third in points, but we're giving that third a caveat. It was an injury-depleted field.
It was an underwhelming 2020 season. On paper, maybe not. But in how it actually played out, what was expected, I think he's going to be looking for a bump up, right? He's going to want to be improving. I'm sure that he knows that, and everybody involved with that team. You're as a rider, you're always wanting to self-analyze, right? And for Jalek Swoll, if we go back to Loretta Lynn's exiting the amateur classes, he actually beat Jett Lawrence.
He did.
He was the Horizon Award winner, leading Loretta Lynn's. When he looks up and sees what Jett Lawrence is doing, Jett Lawrence is the talk of the town in the 250 class. That's what you were expected to do. So I think he's going to want to try to up his game a little bit.
I mentioned rubber meets the road, and I'm going to leave it at Forkner, but I do feel we won't see it probably till West, which starts later in Indy, which is West in February. But I do feel it's win time for Justin Cooper. He's been super consistent. He's been super close. He's been good, top 3 in every series he's raced since turning pro. But eventually he's got to be the guy.
Yeah, it's definitely not, I think, as crucial as Forkner, but we're getting into that territory where it's like, hey, Jay Coop,
let's get one of these.
Yeah. I believe that when he signed his current contract last year, he signed it. I believe they signed him thinking you're the guy to win. Whatever coast we put you in, we're paying you to win. And that's kind of how that team's operated the last few years is like, we're going to have the champion and you are going to be him. I think there is expectation from him and from the team. And if he doesn't get it done, you have to start reassessing again, much like we're talking with Austin Forkner.
Yep. Because Ferrandis moved up. They moved up Plessinger and Cooper and J Mart, who's now back. But they moved a lot of guys on, and now it's his turn.
It does seem to be his year, in air quotes, right, where everything's expected for him to win.
Yeah, we'll see. But he is coming off a little bit of shoulder work in the offseason, like a cleanup of an injury, so he's only back on the bike late. TLD Gas. That was TLD KTM. Now they switched to the Gas branding. They got red bikes. Michael Mosiman switches from Rockstar Husky to the Gas squad, see if he can keep up with all this. Derek Drake should be headed in year 2. Derek Drake's off the team. Pierce Brown is headed into year 2 of the team. He had a few moments in the Utah Supercrosses that were good. That was it.
The opener, the first time we see him, we're
spectacular.
Unbelievable. This guy is headed places. And then I don't know what happened after that.
Outdoors disaster.
And I heard he was a better outdoor guy than indoor guy.
Well, if you look at
so bad.
Well, go back to his opener, the first race he ever raced at WW Ranch.
Solid.
Battling for a top 10. And we're like, okay, we're on to something.
Yeah.
He comes out, backs it up in Supercross, and we're like, all right, like these guys have got something going. And then, I already said, I don't know what happened since. So he's got some serious redemption to go on in 2021.
Yeah.
And I think we keep going back to the pivotal years. He really needs to turn this around because the train was going the wrong direction the second half of 2020.
Well, the problem is, and I don't want to cue another rant here, Steve, these teams, they nurture these guys for a long time as amateurs, but they do not give them much rope as pros. They basically give you two shots, 2 years.
I mean, the amount of amateurs that TLD and Rockstar Energy Husky have cycled through are phenomenal, and there'll be a book written one day about the money that has been wasted with these riders. But
Monster Star Yamaha as well.
I do feel like we're starting a turn a little bit here.
I feel teams are figuring this out.
Teams are figuring it out, which I think is for the best.
I do believe that Pierce Brown is the real deal. I do think that. So I hope that it doesn't go that way, where it's a tough 2021 and he's shuffled out, because I've seen enough. I don't know what was going on again. I don't know if it was injuries or mental or whatever, but I think the talent's there. It would be a real shame for him to not pan out this year and then have to figure something else out.
I'm with you. There are some of these rookie and sophomores that didn't pan out that I was like, man, I didn't think that was going to, but I really thought it was going to work out for Pierce Brown. I would be more surprised if it doesn't work out than if it does.
There are guys, and you hate to call people out in this way. I'm going to do it anyway because that's what we do. But a guy like Mitchell Falk, right? He didn't work out at Troy Lee KTM. He's a great privateer rider. He put in good results this past summer, but I don't think he was ready to elevate to a podium level national or Supercross winner. And that's what he was basically
supposed to do.
Right? Yeah. So it kind of went the way it's supposed to, I think, with a guy like Mitchell Falk, but I don't see that for Pierce Brown. I think he will pan out.
His buddy over there was Drake. That was the other TLD guy. That's it. They gave him his 2 years. He's done.
Yeah, he's done.
He's on Suzuki now, but he's hurt.
He's hurt, exactly.
And he will be filled in for John Short will fill
John
in
Short,
for him. Yes.
Longtime privateer, getting a little shot. So Bar X becomes Suzuki's 250 team?
Yes.
Yeah. The Drake
like that
thing.
Schwartz kid.
He was fast.
He was good.
Yep.
I'm just saying in the Drake thing, I don't mean he's done his career, but it's just amazing this short leash that you get and you're off the team.
Cantrell, Jordan Bailey.
So many.
I mean, just so many guys. Michael Mosiman's back. He missed all of the motocross series, and he's solid rider, podium potential there. Definitely a 4th through 8th kind of guy every week. Will do a good job. I'm stoked because Canada's own Jess Pettis, who we saw 2 years ago flirt with top 10s, or I believe a couple.
I think he got at least one.
He is going to be getting some support from the Red Bull KTM guys. He'll pit off to the side of Max Voland and over there, and so he's Canada's own Jess Pettis. He's a 2-time MX2 champion, and he's one of those guys. I'm always saying, hey, Canada, take your chance. Go spend some of your money. Go down there. Well, that's what Jess is doing, and I'm looking forward to seeing him back on the track.
He looked really good when he was in Supercross 2 years ago.
Yep.
He didn't look like a fish out of water. Yep. So maybe it'll work.
Next JSR, the next rollerball. Let's back it down on that.
Yes.
But I'm happy to say,
is there a chance that he pans out and they just bring him in to be alongside Voland?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
No, well, I've been told along the gas side.
Okay.
If he turns out.
Because Brown is nursing an injury. We don't know if Pierce Brown will be ready for February 20th. Yeah, one more guy to mention on this same topic, on the will they start having the kids that they groom all the way through, or will they have the short leash? Which direction is the Forkner in the road going to go? There's
a lot of...
Yeah. I mean, it's Voland. Voland was supposed to take the long play. They were going to go through Europe. They were going to spend time on 125s and then 250s. And then next thing you know, KTM doesn't have 250 riders anymore because they moved them to gas. So they just say, Voland, you're up. Let's race Soupy.
I don't like this plan.
I've heard that from a lot of people.
I don't like this plan.
It was not the original plan.
I think it's rushed.
Yeah.
I think it's too soon. We haven't even really seen him compete on a 250F against the best amateurs.
Yeah.
Well, he just went to the Mini-O's. It didn't go great.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And that's more evidence of why I don't like this plan. I think he's being dumped into the deep end with guys that are really experienced and really good. The saving grace for this thing will be if they exert what they haven't done with all these other teams and a lot of patience. If they basically say, hey, this is a 3, 4, 5-year plan.
Right.
We don't care what happens in 2021. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you get first or 21st. We don't care. You start worrying about your contract in 2024, and we'll talk about pressure then. If they approach it that way, I have no problems. But I do think there's a risk of the mental side where you just you fall into this, I'm a 10th place guy, right? Because you always want these kids to come in. They've been winning their whole life. Max Voland's no different. He's been winning his whole life. You don't want him to go out there and suck because mentally he's like, man, I can't beat these guys. Like, what the hell am I doing out here? So it's going to be interesting to watch, but I will go on the record. I know I have a history of waffling. I'm not on board with this. I think it's too soon.
I think JT, in his 8th year as a media guy, is starting to get more committal.
I don't know. He just told us that there's a chance that Zach Osborne can win or somebody. Earlier. So
I took him out of my 4.
We asked him.
He didn't even pick him to win.
There was something where you said, "What do you think, JT?" And he said, "There's a chance." Which of course there's a chance.
You said you'd agree with him.
Cinderella winning the title. I said there's a chance.
All right.
That's it for our 250 show.
No, that is not it.
No,
for the
is there
250
anybody
show.
else?
Yes,
Wait,
there is.
There's someone else.
Marty's out of the 250s.
Once again,
Who else? There is no one else left.
The disrespect I get from this man over here has now transferred to you.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
You're trying to wrap up this show.
Yeah, we're done. We mentioned everybody.
We did not mention everybody.
There's another man.
There's a savvy veteran.
Wait a minute.
Troll Train.
Wait a minute.
In the class.
Yes.
He is returning to his roots on blue, where he saw his greatest success. He has struck out as a privateer, building his own team. He's an entrepreneur.
The best part of this is I genuinely didn't know who he was talking about. You knew the whole time.
We did have it in the script like this, just for you Troll Train fans to not think I actually
had completely forgotten. Which
your reaction was so genuine.
It makes it all the better.
Well, yeah, he always the legacy. He just doesn't.
Shitting on Troll Train's legacy. Alex Martin, folks, he is on the Manluck, Rock River, Merge Racing Yamaha team.
There's been a merger.
There's been a merger over there, and he's going to get it done. He's an older guy, but he's smart.
Going to get it done as in?
Title.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Going to ride the West Coast, and he's a good guy. He's fast.
Gonna get it done.
And I'm looking forward to it. I'm an Alex Martin fan. If you're watching and you're not an Alex Martin fan, I would ask what's wrong with you, because he's everything you want in a human being and as a motocross racer.
Let me explain for some of you. Let me explain for some of you at home that don't know the ins and outs of this. There are only 2 ways that you are allowed to discuss Alex Martin. 1, he's going to win the title. 2, he's not going to win the title. That's all that he will.
There is no gray area with this man.
That's all that he will allow.
If you do not pick him as the champ,
yes,
you are disrespecting.
That is correct.
Yes,
that is
you are very black and white.
It's not true.
Yes.
This is going to be the year, though. We're back on blue. It's a great bike, and I'm looking forward to it. The 26 in your program, the red plate in your heart, and I'm looking forward to it. So let's do it, Troll Train. Let's make this happen.
It is true. I mean, you started this show with a rant. Midway through the show, you had a rant. If there's anyone that represents what you believe the 250 class should be, it should be 31-year-old riders going for the championship.
Absolutely.
So I feel like he represents all you.
Thank you.
All you stand for.
Yep.
And we have had Phil Nicoletti on these shows. We are not even going to ask him about Troll Train because he says every year he says it's great, and then round 3 it's a yard sale.
He's not on the program either. Yeah,
he is not on the Troll Train Believer program.
Yeah.
No. That's our shows. That's all 5 of our RacerX Monster Energy Supercross preview shows for Monster Energy, AMA Supercross, and FIM World Championship. Go to supercrosslive.com. Get tickets to the races. Come see us at our live shows. We'll have them Friday night before Houston at 3 Palms MX, the motocross track, about 40 minutes from Reliant Stadium. We'll have one at the Renaissance Irving Theater, not in Irving, Texas, but in Indianapolis. Friday before Indy. And Fantasy, you guys want to?
Pulp Fantasy.
PulpMXFantasy.com. Check it out.
Have
Sign
a chance
up.
to win 4 motorcycles and
2 just as a random draw. You don't even have to be good at the game like Steve.
Weekly prizes. Season-ending prizes. We got it all, and it's a really cool game. Pulp X Fantasy makes Supercross fun, more fun than usual.
It's a lot of stress in the 250 class.
8 riders each.
Hate you guys. All right, we'll be watching real riders on the real racetrack coming up January 16th in Houston. Fans are back. FanFest back. We will see you there.